For 5,000 years, we might have been told a lie. The official story is that the gods of our ancestors were just myths. That our creation was a slow, random process of evolution. But what if that's not the whole truth? Recent breakthroughs in artificial intelligence are beginning to decode our most ancient texts, and the story they're piecing together is different. Some researchers claim this new technology is uncovering a terrifying secret that was lost, burned, and intentionally erased. A secret that says the gods were real, they were flesh and blood, and we were their creation. Deep in the dust of modern-day Iraq lie the ruins of the world's first civilization, Sumer. For over a century, archaeologists have been digging up their secrets on hundreds of thousands of clay tablets. This ancient writing cuneiform is the oldest ever found. These tablets are supposed to be the bedrock of our history, giving us our first myths, our first laws, and stories like the Epic of Gilgamesh. But there's a huge problem. Cuneiform is incredibly complex, with over 1,000 characters whose meanings changed over time. Only a handful of experts worldwide can even try to read them. As a result, hundreds of thousands of these tablets are just sitting in museum vaults, untranslated and silent. We've been trying to solve a puzzle with most of the pieces missing. Historians have done their best with the fragments they can read. They've told us about the Sumerian gods, the Anunnaki, who ruled from the heavens. We retold these are just creation myths from a primitive people trying to make sense of the world. That the Anunnaki were religious symbols, not historical figures. That's the official story. But what if the story is incomplete because the most important parts have been deliberately kept from us? What if the tablets aren't myths at all but records? Everything we think we know might be about to change, thanks to AI. In the last few years, computer scientists and archaeologists have been training AI to do what humans can't: translate cuneiform almost instantly. Think of it like Google Translate for the dawn of time. Early models, like those from Tel Aviv and Ariel University, had amazing success with Akkadian cuneiform, saving scholars years of work. But the theory goes deeper. What if a new generation of AI could do more than just translate? What if it could analyze every digitized tablet at once, every myth, every king list, every receipt, and find patterns a human could never see? It could cross-reference fragments separated by thousands of years, reconstruct broken texts, and maybe even read between the lines of what was erased or mistranslated. According to some, the story that's emerging isn't a myth. It's the story of a cover-up so old and so vast it has shaped everything we think we know about ourselves. The first clue proponents of this theory say is the word Anunnaki. For decades, mainstream scholars have translated this as princely seed or those of royal blood. This fits the narrative that gods were just stand-ins for human kings. It's a comfortable, down-to-earth explanation, but it might be wrong. A controversial translation, long dismissed by the mainstream but championed by researchers like Zakaria Sicking, claims the word has a much more literal meaning. This AI-driven pattern analysis, they argue, proves Sitchin was right. Anunnaki doesn't mean princely seed. It means those who from heaven to earth came. Think about that. The oldest texts don't describe spirits. They describe visitors who descended from the sky. The Sumerian king list, for instance, says that kingship was lowered from heaven. It then lists 8 kings who reigned for an impossible 241,200 years before the Great Flood. Historians call these numbers symbolic. But what if they aren't? What if those are the lifespans of beings who weren't from this world? This new interpretation suggests it wasn't poetry. It was a historical account. Our gods weren't gods. They were astronauts. If the Anunnaki were just visitors, the next part of the story gets even more disturbing. As the AI allegedly reassembles fragmented texts, a new picture forms. The tablets start to read less like myths and more like lab notes. They describe a problem. The Anunnaki came here to mine resources, mainly gold, but the work was too hard. They needed a workforce. They needed a primitive worker. These reassembled texts, some researchers claim, are a step-by-step guide to how Homo sapiens were created. They talk about taking the essence of the local hominids, what we'd call Homo erectus, and binding it with their own DNA. The Atrahasis epic describes the creation of man from clay mixed with the flesh and blood of a god. We've always called this poetry. What if it was a recipe? The tablets even seem to mention failed prototypes, earlier versions of humanity that were tested and destroyed. Is there any physical evidence for a claim that wild? Well, maybe it's inside every one of us. Scientists have always been a bit puzzled by human chromosome 2. It looks like two ape chromosomes that were fused together somewhere in our distant past. Science calls it a random evolutionary accident. But what if that fusion point, that genetic scar, isn't an accident at all? What if it's the suture mark from a deliberate genetic upgrade? The mark of where the Anunnaki bound their essence to ours, just like the tablets say? The story we're told is that we evolved. This theory asks, what if we were engineered? If that sounds like a lot to take in, you're not wrong. And we're just getting started. If you want to go deeper down this rabbit hole with us, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss what's coming. The theories coming out of Sumer don't exist in a vacuum. With this new context, a shocking pattern seems to connect ancient mysteries all over the world that have never been properly explained. Think about the Dogon people of Mali. For centuries, they've had shockingly specific knowledge of the Sirius star system, including its tiny companion star, Sirius B, which you can't see without a modern telescope. When asked how they knew, they say the Namo-amphibious teacher gods from the sky told them. Historians suggest they just heard it from 20th century astronomers, but the Dogon traditions are much older. So who are you going to believe? Now look at the impossible structures of the ancient world. In Baalbek, Lebanon, there are foundation stones weighing over 800 tons. At Pumapunku in Bolivia, diorite stone is cut with a precision that would challenge our best power tools today. Archaeologists have theories about simple tools and manpower, but they strain belief. But if our creators were an advanced civilization, these impossible feats suddenly make a lot more sense. And what about the thousands of elongated skulls found from Peru to Egypt? While the easy explanation is always head-binding, could it be something more? Did this practice start as a way for humans to imitate the look of their creators? Could some of these skulls actually be the remains of the Anunnaki themselves, or human Anunnaki hybrids? These questions are no longer just on the fringe. They're becoming central to understanding our past. If you connect the dots, the conclusion is earth-shattering. The stories of our origins might not be myths. The gods might not have been imaginary. Our civilization, even our DNA, could be a gift or a curse from visitors from the stars. We may not be who we thought we were. We might be a hybrid species, a worker race, made in the image of beings we were taught to worship. This new line of thinking hasn't just offered a new translation for an old language. It has resurrected a possible hidden history. It points to a 5,000-year-old lie. And in doing so, it raises the most important question for humanity's future. The same Sumerian tablets that describe our creation say that the visitors left. But they also left a chilling promise. One day, they would return. If the first part of their story, the part we were told was a myth, turns out to be true, what about the last part?